Hello, everyone, and welcome to the North versus South FPL podcast for the final time this season. We've finally got there, mate. We're at the end of a tremendous season. How do you feel?
Still slightly delicate from your stag do, but other than that, yeah, good. Yeah, tired, just tired. That's the key.
If you guys didn't already know, I'm Heath. My co-host is State. I am getting married next month, and State was very fortunate to be present on my stag do, and it was quite a good evening, wasn't it, or day?
Let's say you had a good day, but I don't think you saw much of the evening. Although you got a good night's sleep, I'll give you that. You definitely got a good night's sleep. Yeah. So I think you've somehow achieved actually not feeling too badly, I think, the next day because you had that good sleep. But yeah, it was a good cracking day and cracking night out for those of us who managed to last the night, which like I said, definitely did not include you. That's for sure.
No. I can safely say that I felt awful the next day, mate. I was fresh, sleep-wise, yes, but my sweat tasted gin. My beard tasted gin. Oh, it was just horrendous. Every burp that came up was gin flavored. It was rank. And I would just like to say, first of all, thank you very much for everyone who attended. It was an absolute honor to spend the majority of the day with you. I'm sorry that I let everyone down and went down early, but I blame this guy, State, and a few other guys for some of the dirty shots that I had to take in. And I guess I also blame my own excitement for being around everyone because, it was a good group of guys. By the sounds of it, it was a good evening.
Yeah,
obviously,
definitely was.
Like I said, I didn't see too much of it. But this isn't the Heath Stag Do podcast. This is the FPL North versus South podcast. So we better crack on with the agenda. So this week, we will obviously have our game week review. We'll have our shit list. It's no longer called the Michael Keane shit list. We'll tell you more about that later. We will have our North versus South mini league, final update and our mini cup update as well. So we'll let you know how everything finished off. And then, well, to be honest, I mean, all we got after that is our final game of the season results from our predictions. We haven't got a game week preview for obviously next week. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's probably
emotional.
I mean, it's
getting a bit welling up here. I am.
It's kind of crazy to think that I don't know how many exact podcasts we've done in the end, but we've done between 30 and 40. But it feels quite a landmark to get to game week 38, and we're still here. You know, we haven't been booed out of the building. We're just about hanging on, I think. I know that right now, I think both State and I would probably be rather doing anything else but doing this podcast from what's happened this weekend. However,
we're committed. We're dedicated.
We love you guys so much that we feel like we have to put it out there. Plus, State goes on holiday on Wednesday, so it's now or never really for us.
Another 2-week bender to go on that. Yeah, great.
Have you done your best man speech?
I did it actually. I did it on the train home yesterday from London. So I thought, right.
Sneak previews?
No, because I found out yesterday when I was drinking with the groom to be that he actually has started listening to our podcast as well. So I can't put anything on here just in case he listens to it. So yeah.
Fair enough. You're not going to say about that time that he got he ended up at that strip club and. Actually, no, I won't say it, mate. It's a bit.
No, she won't listen to it. So yeah, good point. To be fair, yeah. I had a mare when it came to his stag do because I failed in terms of getting the strippers there. They didn't turn up, so that sort of bites me back in the butt. However, we are going out in Faliraki on the Saturday before the wedding. The wedding's on the Wednesday. It's Champions League final night. So we may see if we can find a strip club and just send him in there on his own and just take some pictures, and then I could talk about it in the best man speech.
Fair enough, mate. Well, I mean, obviously he now knows what you're going to do, assuming he's going to listen to this between now and then. So
probably, yeah.
No, awesome. But yeah, so mate, how do you feel about this game week? I mean, obviously, we will get into the review in a second, but overall, how did it go for you? Like, were you happy? Were you sad? Were you?
From my own perspective, I didn't do badly. I got over average, in terms of the result on my team. But I made 2 transfers, which, to be fair, they ended up being not quite the right transfers. I brought in Luis Diaz for Damari Gray, and I brought in Johnny Evans for Virgil van Dijk. So I went for 3 Liverpool players there because I had a bit of money left over, and I just thought, right, bring those 2 in, take a 4-point hit. I was pretty confident of getting at least that 4 points back, and hoping for a bit more than that, really. That didn't kind of work out. Yeah, no, I had a decent game week enough. 60 points. Edison in goal, 1 point. Cancelo, just the 1 point. Johnny Evans, 2. Joel Matip, 7 points.
Superstar.
And he's got an assist. He's got 3 bonus points in the last 3 games. He's got 3 bonus points in each of the last 3 games. So he's finished the season well, hasn't he? For Liverpool. Then I had Mr. Nathan Collins with 1 point. Burnley, obviously, losing and going down. Midfield, Diaz just got the 2 points. Diaz looked good, though. I think he had a decent game. He just wasn't the one getting the assists or the goals, really, at the end of it all. So that was just a bit annoying, but still dangerous. Other midfield 3 did well. Mane, 9 points. Obviously, he got a goal. He had a couple of bonus points. I think he had a goal chalked off or offside as well, actually. So he did well. James Maddison, what a star, 13 points, goal and assist, and 3 bonus points, which was good for him. I mean, his ball for the assist were fantastic to Perez.
Do you think he meant that though? Because if you watch it back, it looks like he looks up, sees it might be Vardy, it might not be, but someone in the middle, and then that person runs behind it, and then Perez comes up at the back. I mean, to be fair, if Maddison actually is trying to find Perez, then fair play. But I don't know. But he didn't celebrate like he did there. That's all I'll say.
No, well, maybe. But yeah, 13 points from him. De Bruyne got 12 points. He was my captain, so he got 6 points. He got 1 assist and 1 bonus point. Again, the game, he was quality all game, but obviously didn't quite haul as big as I maybe hoped, but still gets me into double figures there. Then my front 2, Timo Pukki, didn't exactly have much of a game against Spurs. They got battered, did Norwich, so he only got me 2 points. But Jamie Vardy, he got 10 points. He got a goal, he got an assist, he got a bonus point. So again, he probably could have had more than the 1 goal. I mean, although him not scoring the first time meant Maddison got the rebound and scored 1. So, it probably worked out better for me that Maddison actually scored. But yeah, see him 10 points. Then on my bench, McGovern, no points. Gelhardt, 2 points. Anthony Gordon, 1 point, and Brandon Williams did not play, so no points. So nothing on my bench, really. That's cost me anything in terms of getting much higher on my points. So 60 points, like I said, it's an all right game week, and it means that I finished overall with 2,279 points with my Northern team's overall points tally, ranking 756,851 in the top, like 750,000 of the over 9 million players. So I'm not too disappointed with that with just a Northern team. So, could have been a lot worse than that, I reckon. So yeah, not bad.
So that means that with that score, I would need 111 points to take the win. And let's just say, I'll start off with Ramsdale in goal, who I did bring in for Emi Martinez, just the 2 points. Unfortunately, Everton scored. It's a bit frustrating. Then my own team, Watford, when I didn't want them to score, in the 89th minute against Chelsea, they go and score a pointless goal, because then, at least if they had got the equaliser and held on for a point, we could have said, well, we got a point at Chelsea. That's a good way to finish a terrible season. But no, they couldn't even. Honestly, these useless pieces of shit, they couldn't even hold on to that. So, I guess on a positive, Reece James then got an assist. So Anyway, Reece James got 7 points. Aspilicueta got 2. So yeah, that's that. Then I got a little bit lucky. Luca Dean came on for Alonso, who didn't play, and Luca Dean got 4 points, got an assist for the first Aston Villa goal. Then we move into the midfield. So Jarrod Bowen with 2 points, Bukayo Saka with 5 points. Then Wilfred Zaha handed a goal by Bruno Fernandes, nine points. I mean, it's absolutely shocking. But yeah, he got
assist.
Yeah.
Great assist.
And then I mean, I'll just go on to Ivan Toney. Just got the 1 point. Didn't really show up. I think there was something about him not being very well or something. But obviously Brentford went down to 9 men as well, so it was quite difficult for him to, I suppose. I mean, he looked quite lively at the beginning, but didn't quite work out for him. But then my Spurs players all came through. Kulusevski got 16 points. And then, yeah, I mean, Kane, 10 points. He was my vice captain. And Heung-min Son, what an end, 36 points. But guys, if you're very, very good at maths, you would have worked out that unfortunately I did not get enough points to beat State. 94 points. And there we go. State, congratulations, mate. You're a very worthy winner. You deserved it. You know, you got a lot of, you know, when Salah's form dropped off, you still made the right decisions with the Leicester players. Maddison was incredible. So even getting Matip in, taking out Alexander-Arnold and people like that. I mean, you've nailed it. I mean, I'm not going to say anything about the fact that we finished joint on points and that you only won by.
I'll tell you what. I think you're not going to say something about it, but you have said something about it. So I'm not going to let that just go and slide. By the way, I'm going to, but because I actually was about to give dues to us both there, because 38 game weeks, 19 wins apiece, no draws. I mean, that's, like I said, we couldn't have really asked for too much more. We went into the final game week. We knew it was close. I didn't fancy getting the game week win, but I just knew I needed to just make sure I got enough points to keep me afloat. And Son had scored, done nothing up until the whatever minute for when he decided, right, I'm going to start destroying Norwich here. What was it? I think, he scored twice in like the 70th and 75th minute, didn't he? Something.
Yeah.
And I was watching the Leeds game. I was watching that because my best mate Park, he's a Leeds fan when he wants to be. Whenever they're winning, he wants to be a Leeds fan, so he watches it then. So we're watching that, but then the goal flashes started coming through, and it was Son scoring. I was like, no, he scored one. I went, that's not good. Then he gets a second. I'm like, oh dear. we need him off the pitch quick. Get him off the pitch. I was there saying, a couple of us are there watching it. I'm like, right, Son needs bringing off now. Get him off. He's done his job. He's won the Golden Boot. That's fine. Let's just get him off that pitch. And luckily enough, they didn't do it, but he got booked and he didn't score again. So it was okay. I was safe.
That booking killed me really, because I think he would have got bonus points surely if he didn't get booked.
Probably. You don't expect.
I mean, they all did something, didn't they? But
it was. Yeah, I think. Yeah, he got. Yeah, the yellow card probably did cost him bonus point. Kulusevski got bonus point. Bentancur got 2, and Kane.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been enough anyway. I'm. The thing is that the thing
and the
about
Watford goal. Those were big, because you'd have got, in terms of points. Like you said, you were 17 points behind me overall, and which wasn't much. But then if you get a clean sheet from James and Aspilicueta, that's another 8 points there already. Son don't get booked, that's another 3. You're up to 11. But I suppose you could just tell people about how strong your third sub was again this game week, because you keep getting this third sub spot on. You got Bowen the previous week with 14 points, third sub, and then this week, who have you got as your third sub this week? And these two bad decisions have effectively cost you the title.
Yeah, Mr. Anderson from Crystal Palace, you got 9 solid points. But again, I mean, most people would say to you, playing Man United at home, Man United who didn't play in game week 37, who have had a long time to kind of sort themselves out with the idea that they've got to impress the new manager. I really didn't see them not scoring. I I don't remember I think we both predicted them to. I don't know if I can't
No,
remember. If we both,
I predicted. Well, I said I didn't fancy. I said I fancied West Ham to actually finish above them, which pretty much says that I wasn't expecting United to do much at Palace, which they didn't. They did nothing at Palace, but West Ham just let me down on that. So yeah, they were terrible. United.
and Anderson is one for next season, guys. Because one thing you have to know about him, a bit like Joel Matip, is because they're ball playing defenders. When they get the ball, they often play the right pass, and if they keep a clean sheet, they're the ones who get the 3 bonus points. As long as it's a low scoring clean sheet, if it's a 1-0, 2-0, then they've always got a good chance of getting 3 bonus points. There's always been players like that over the
done
years.
well, haven't they? They brought the young lad Mark Gray. He's had a good season, hasn't he, as well?
Yeah.
And then who's the other guy who plays for him? I mean, I don't know. Is he a fullback? That Mitchell. I think
Tyrick Mitchell. Yeah.
But yeah, that Anderson and Gray obviously had a good season, it seems, and Palace have, I'm sure they're not going to be too upset with that season. 48 points improvement on last time, and it was a big change for them, I think, because obviously Moy done wonders with them, but he had an aging squad, and Vieira's come in, and they've brought in. They've got some, a lot of young players. They've got some great, exciting players like, obviously Conor Gallagher came on loan. He's done great for them. Zaha, obviously, again, the talisman. But, then they've signed players like Mateta and Edouard who chipped in. Elise. I think the one probably person that you've got to remember didn't play too much because he injured for the first half of the season was Eze, who looked really good last season. So, without him, I think, Palace have obviously gone in the right direction. And like you said, Anderson and Matt Gray have obviously not been have been, half decent sort of point scorers when it comes to fantasy as well.
Ultimately, in the end, like I say, so State takes the glory, and the whole thing about this is like State says, the idea that we've gone into the last game of the season. If you think back 2 game weeks ago, I was 3 points clear with 2 game weeks to go. That's one hell of a comeback to get those points. That De Bruyne captaincy absolutely nailed that.
That was a big moment, wasn't it? Big moment.
It was.
But it's been a great battle, and I think that's like I said, at the start of the season, romping home with it in that first, when Salah was just being stupid, and some others as well. But then you've stuck at it, you've stuck to your guns, and you've come back well. Kane coming back into form, and Spurs doing a bit better, start to work in your favour. And like I said, I've had to make some good big decisions recently, and it's luckily paid off. But I think we've both had us as ups and as downs, in game weeks, and had us little bad runs and good runs. So it's been a great season, a great head-to-head season, and like I said, the best man winning. And so that's the main thing that everyone wanted to know.
Fair play. I can't deny that.
Which, to be fair, I don't usually beat you, so it's probably quite gutting for you to know that all summer I'm going to be able to have that tag. Yeah, the winner, the champion, the number one guy.
It does hurt. The king. It stings a little bit. But technically, I won it last year, right? So you win it this year. I won it last year. It's 1-1.
There's no proof to our viewers that you won last year, actually. So
mate, I'll find proof. I'm sure I can find one of the videos. But now, I suppose, like I said, it's been great, and it moves us on to our final shit list of the season. One of our most exciting features. I definitely look forward to it. It's always good for a rant and to get some abuse out there to certain things or people. As Heath mentioned earlier, this has been called the Michael Keane shit list for a good part of the season. If you need to know why that's the case, then you obviously don't watch much football. Michael Keane, actually, we've decided to take him off the shit list because the guy delivered for Everton when they needed him to. Against Palace, he scored the goal that got them sort of pretty much
out of the relegation zone, out of the dogfight, and they stayed up. And you know, we had to commend him for that. To be fair, and I think it's it takes very very big people to admit when they're wrong. Now we're not admitting that though, because we're not big people starters, but we're just saying he's had a bit of form, so we'll realise that and we'll take him off as our shit list sponsor. We can bring somebody else in next season, which I'm sure we've already got our ideas for. But in terms of your shit list, Heath, who's on your final shit list of the season,
All right, okay. So number 1, Michael Keane. Conceding five.
Yeah.
Conceding,
not people.
yeah, conceding 5 goals to Arsenal, giving up. No, I'm joking. I think Everton deserved to be on the shit list, but they've done their job against Crystal Palace, to be fair. Yeah, I think the first person that definitely has to be on the shit list. I think I'm going to steal a couple from you, I reckon, and I apologise in advance. But the fact is that I need something today to help me through this devastating defeat. But Nathan Collins has to be on there. What the hell were you doing, Sunshine? What were you doing?
Yeah,
why? Like, I mean, it was like it was almost like the handball was like something you did in a playground when you were a kid, thinking like, oh, you cheated, hoping that no one would see, but it was the most blatant thing. And then obviously nowadays there's VAR, so it's not exactly he's going to get away with it. Maybe he thought that the guy had a free header, and that if he put his fist on the ball to stop it from going to the header, that would stop a definite goal. But from my perspective, it looked like whoever it was coming at the back post might have got a header on it, but I didn't think there's any guarantee he was going to score.
No, that's all. Right.
So he's got to go on there, really. I know he put in the cross for the goal, but the fact is that the damage was done. And Burnley, I mean, I know there's a lot of people who don't like Burnley, and that's fair enough. But I like an underdog, and I like the smaller teams in the Premier League because I support one myself. So I'm a little bit gutted that they went down and Leeds didn't. But here comes the other person who's on there for a very similar reason, Sergi Canos.
Oh.
Honestly, buddy, you're already down to 10 men because again, a Brentford manager could go on there too, but they made their 3 subs. He takes off his shirt for scoring. Fair enough. Just be careful. You've just been booked, idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beggars belief, isn't it, really? The idea that, I don't know, but that effectively led to Leeds having an easier time of it, I guess. And that was a poor decision from on his behalf, especially given that there was like this whole kind of Leeds-Brentford rivalry going in from the Championship that everyone was talking about. Well, I say everyone, but they were talking about. So, yeah, there you go. Nathan Collins, Sergi Canos, Dan Gosling. I'm sorry, mate. It's a lovely header. It's a really good header.
Really good header.
What are you doing? What are you doing? If you're going to score, right, make sure your teammates know how to keep the ball out of the net between, what was it, the 90th minute and the 93rd minute. You had 4 minutes to not concede another goal. So, Dan, I blame you for that because you were the one who cost me my clean sheet and eventually led to the defeat. And then, so I've got 2 more people on the shit list. Myself, I'm going to put myself on my shit list. Obvious reason of not winning this year's North versus South podcast league between State and myself and the head-to-head, but also the fact that if you're going to have a stag do, big man, try and stay out for longer than you did. Going home, first person home, being carried home is not the best way to finish a stag do. Next time, and hopefully there won't be a next time, all right, eat a burger, eat something, drink some water, don't know, have a better strategy next time because you really let yourself down there. And I don't like the idea of being known as a bit of a lightweight, but I'm sure I'll be forever being known as being a bit of a lightweight. And I'm now the last person on my shit list is anyone who gave me a dirty shot on that stag do will also be on my shit list. So therefore, State, you do make your way onto my shit list as one of the people to have given me one of the dirty shots. That shot that you gave me initially, that was horrendous. Jackson, you're listening, Jackson. That one that you gave me that curdled on Tattershall Castle, that was horrendous. And there was others, but basically Jackson, State, Ben Marion.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if there's anyone else, but if you are, you know you are, and you're on my shit list this week. Because if it wasn't for you, I would have been fine. I would have been drunk. I would have been merry, but I would have got through that. I would have not been getting carried home before it got dark. I mean, come on.
Probably right. I accept being on your shit list, but yeah, I'm sure the other two do. And I'm sure we're all happy about it still as well at the same time. So yeah.
And that concludes my shit list. I have a couple of other names. I'm not going to bring them up. I feel like I've given you enough.
Yeah, I'll take that. Good shit list. Very good. You did steal a few people off me as well, to be fair. Yourself being one of them, and your shit list. But not making it past night, well, into the even early evening would have been impressive. Still, the only reason you were still outside at 8:30 is because it took us 2 hours to walk you back to the hotel. No taxi would take him. We didn't want to risk going down any steps to the tube because, well, we were pretty confident that he was wanted to be kept alive until at least after the wedding. So when we were carrying you back, it took us quite a while because we were a couple of miles away from where you were staying. So yeah, that's all. Was the only reason you was actually out slightly longer than what you really should have been. So yeah, well done. You were on the shit list for sure. But we all had a good laugh at your expense, so that's good. Always nice to know. Raya from Brentford, the keeper. Oh, like I said, what is he doing? First goal, shocking. Penalty, gives the penalty away. Gave the ball away. Really poor from him. Anyone who helped Leeds stay up is on my shit list, basically. So yeah, Nathan Collins was on there helping Leeds as well. Callum Wilson is on there, scored 2 goals. That helps Leeds. You're on the shit list, Callum. Sorry. Then also, obviously, Canos, red card, yeah, on the shit list as well. Really bad. Bruno Fernandes is on the shit list as well, because that pass to whatever he was doing, I don't know what he was doing, but it wasn't football. I'll say that much. Just terrible pass, and then Zaha scores a goal. So not good. Not good from Bruno. And then, did you see Canate for Liverpool for the Wolves' first goal?
No, go on.
Just a long ball, and he goes up like he's going to head it, and he just goes over him. It's like, this is a guy who's
the defending from both Liverpool and Man City was very odd. Very odd.
Yeah, Fernandinho did something similar as well, but like just a straight long ball. There was no pressure on him. He just went underneath it. He went over him.
Actually, that brings up another person, Lianco at Southampton. God, honestly, what? I guess maybe some of these people on the beach or something, or the concentration levels aren't there. I mean,
you got to be even more careful with someone like Vardy around, because Vardy actually is so good at predicting that, because he feeds off that, he gambles, and yeah, he proper effects that out, didn't he? So yeah, terrible, but yeah, good shout. So, but yeah, those were the ones on my shit list. To be fair, Bruno was absolutely terrible for Man United. Whoever that passed, just shocking. Don't have a clue what he was thinking about in life there. So yeah, but yeah, some interesting defending this weekend, that's for sure. And Leeds fans all celebrating like they won the league. I'm like, fucking hell.
Oh, yeah, they've got to do it though, mate. They've got to do it. I mean, the fact is that they both Everton and Leeds. I mean, I don't like this whole running on the pitch thing as kind of like it felt like quite good fun, when players weren't getting attacked and stuff. mean, it's just kind of like it always seems to be the case, isn't it? There's always someone who just ruins it for everyone. And the fact is, running on the pitch is something that's kind of like fun, enjoyable. You get to the playoff final, you know, you go into Wembley, everyone runs on the pitch, you keep yourself up, you stay up by the skin of your teeth, you run on the pitch, you celebrate, and then you win the league. You know, Man City have done it.
Yeah.
And people just ruin it, you know, for everyone. Everton, Man City fans, you know, was it Swindon? No, Port Vale fans against Swindon as well. You know, it's just, and then obviously the Forest versus Sheffield United with Billy Sharp. Just a real shame that seems to be a little bit of a theme going on at the moment. But I guess, again, you know, this is where we are with, it's always been the case, isn't it? It's always been the small minority that kind of unfortunately ruin it for everyone else. But yeah, I personally have no problems with Leeds celebrating like that. You know, the fact is that they were really probably favourites to go down with that run of fixtures coming up, and you couldn't see where they were going to get a point from. So fair play to Leeds, but they were handed it on a plate by poor decision making by other players for sure.
Definitely. But so now that's the shit list. The end of the shit list for the season.
It's going to be weird without it, mate, isn't it? Like you're going to have to text me each week going, "Oh, Andy from finance is in my shit list this week." Fucked up this report.
I can very comfortably find people to put on my shit list and through working material. You know, I work in recruitment, so you know that's not hard to do at all. So yeah, no problem. I'll help. I'll maintain it for you. So what we got next on our agenda?
Yeah, well, it's the league and cup updates, and I mean, realistically, because I was in the cup final, it makes sense that I run with the actual league itself. And again, if you haven't listened to this podcast before, we've got a group of 31 guys and girls who have basically put themselves in our North versus South league. There are some people who have picked Northern or Southern teams, but majority are, you know, kind of both. So it's a very difficult league to kind of say who's done well and who's not done well when some have got restricted teams and some haven't. But what we can say is Nick Edwards, El Badger Poopers, he's obviously got the wooden spoon with a nice juicy 14 points, finishing on 1,215 points, which is a real shocker. Then we work our way up the league. So we're always talking about the King of the South, Eddie Moran versus Ned Starks, my dad, Harrison Copley. In the end, Harrison Copley prevailed. He finished 27th, Eddie finished 28th. So that's a nice little battle there. Then we go a bit higher up the league. And, you know, this week, Chris Harrigan with Doff Venture South got a nice 93 points. That was a good week for him. So he had Son as captain. He had Kulizeski, Kane, Zaha, Coutinho. So he had and he had Mr. Anderson in there as well. So he did well. I mean, ultimately, there's only one person we really need to be talking about right now, and it's the person with the best score of the week to finish off the season, and that is the Southern All-Stars. Somehow, Heath's team, my team, made it into the top 10. I don't know how I did it, but somehow I did it. I overtook Paul Pond, Dirty Sancho, and the 11 optimists. Not so much an optimist anymore, Bailey Mark, as my team just snatched the top 10 spot. So close to taking over James Simons, or better known as State, the Northern Super Kings. This week, the 60 points means that you finish in a very credible 9th place. You are the highest person with a North or a South team for the season. So there's another little win for you there.
Another accolade for the man. Yeah.
Now, I'm going to walk you through the rest of the top 10 because realistically, they've all done very well to be there. So at number 8, FPL Gluttony, Veldora Tempest, 86 points this week. He just finished above you with 2,294 points. Then we've got Expected to Lose. Well, unfortunately, he did drop down into 7th place, Jason By. Then we're going into 6th place. Now then, Young Man. Ian Anthony Helliwell, 75 points. He got himself into a nice 6th position. Then we had an early, one of the early table toppers in Betty Swallocks FC, John Rogerson. Unfortunately, couldn't hold on. He finished in 5th place. Now we got Leonie Cameron. We haven't really spoken about this season that much, but We Came Star, they finished in 4th place. Unfortunately for Connor Tobin, he just missed out on 2nd place with FPL Lion, C Tobbs. He was joint on points with Mike Matthews, MM. So they both finished on 2,477 points. Somehow MM finished above Connor Tobin. And that means that our winner, the North versus South mini league, is Kevin Bernard's Crucible FC with a nice rounded 2,500 points, 85 points in the last game week. Let's see his team. So he had Madison, he had Son as captain, Vardy and Kane. Now that is a great duo up front. Cash got him the cash. Robertson with a goal. All came through for him. And to be fair to him, in the end, he finished just outside the top 100K. Really, really good season. And just to let you know, Kevin's from Trinidad, and there will be a cup coming his way, or North versus South mug, which, let's say some people call a cup. But congratulations, buddy. Well-deserved winner. You've been leading for a while now. I think it got a bit tight at the end, but you held on in the end. To be fair, it was pretty comfortable in that last game week. But mate, how you feeling? Top 10. What do you think? How you feeling about that?
Well, Heath, I'm glad you asked. I'm feeling really good about this. It's been a good season, and so I think we're gauging for a big run at the top 3 next year. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I feel like, mate, I like that. I do feel like next season we need to be a bit stricter with the teams that we allow in. I don't know how easy it's going to be to convince people to pick a second team of just Northern or Southern players, because obviously most people will want to have their normal team, and then to try and pick a second team is, I know, technically cheating, but the fact is that they're not doing it to try and win from a different angle. They're going with a different type of strategy. So I think it will be quite tough if we can have a league only of Northern and Southern teams, but I guess that's something we can strive for next season, because it does feel a bit unfair that the idea that a lot of the guys in the league obviously couldn't come close because they were restricted by, including myself and State. Ultimately would have been number 1 and 2.
True. True. The other thing, Heath, might want to just add as well. Obviously, I've got a few accolades here. Coming my way. I'm champion. Top of the teams, and picked it just the North or South team. And I'm also a manager of the month from May as well.
Hey, congratulations, mate.
295 points, beating Eldora Tempest on 287. Chris Harrogin, Chris with 274. And then Heath, you came 4th actually with 257. So, good final months of the season from us both there. And it was even better to see 3 of the top 4 of the month for the month of May all being, with the restricted teams, me, North, you and Chris both picking just purely South-based teams. But, we were starting to show that we were the ones to be recognised.
Credibility levels, mate. That's what you get. You restrict yourself, you get more credit.
However, I do have to now start talking about the North versus South Fantasy Cup.
Hey.
And he didn't quite manage to keep it to himself that he won this final, because he said I had the best game week for the last game week of the season. So that pretty much makes it clear that he did really well with that, Heath. Great spoiler alert, and I'm pretty sure our listeners have seen it. But yeah, the final was held at various grounds on Sunday, the 22nd of May, 2022. The Southern All-Stars, led by their indifferent manager, Mr. Heath, versus Mike Matthews, who was obviously also trying to gun for the title. He was trying to hunt down a few people at the time. Connor Tobin, he managed to get past Connor, but he didn't quite. He found Kevin Van Aert just too much to claw that back. But the cup final was good. It was highly scored. 73 points from Mike Matthews. He got 77, but he made 2 transfers. Captain was Kane. He had Son, De Bruyne, Harvey Barnes, Zaha, Saka. He had Anderson in his team. He actually put Anderson in his team, unlike some people. Heath. Eric Dyer as well. And yeah, he got a very respectable 77, but 70, which meant 73 with his transfers. However, as Heath has already told you all, the Southern All-Stars, 94 points. Heath's triple captain is basically what won in that game, because Son got him 36 points for his as a triple captain, and that has, saving his triple captain till the end of the season has meant that he has managed to win something this season, and that was the North vs South Cup goes to Heath. There will be a prize that Heath will send to himself, no doubt, for it as a congratulation. I expect that it'll probably be the mug. It's probably the same mug that you're getting, Kevin, which is a bit unfair since winning a league title is a lot tougher than winning a cup, in my opinion. So yeah, we apologise about that. Funding's been a bit restricted this year, due to increasing bills and stuff. So yeah, but I'm sure he's gonna take a lot of pleasure in winning the cup. Well done, buddy. It's good to see that you've managed to win something this season, because it's been a tough year for you. With Watford, not making you stag do really, to be fair, and stuff like that. So I think well done.
It's a real honour, and guys, I'm going to be fighting, to hold on to this cup for next season, and I'm going to go for the league next year. I'm going to go for the cup double. People say that I couldn't do it. I'm going to do it. You watch. That's fighting talk.
Really is.
No, it's good. To be honest, like I'll be totally honest with you. Like I didn't even know about the cup until State said that he got knocked out, and then it suddenly became interesting because I actually thought, someone could win something else, and it adds some extra element to it. I mean, the cup kind of idea in each league, non-head-to-head leagues, is a new thing this season anyway. So
yeah,
or maybe was it last season that it came in? I don't know. It was over this season or last season, but it's a new thing. But yeah, really happy with that. I'll be honest with you, I was pretty gutted that I didn't win the head-to-head against yourself, State. But to win a trophy for my cabinet, I will have to make a cabinet now. That will be going in there. So I'm extremely honoured and proud. Yeah, I've spoken to my family about it, and they were really impressed with my achievement, especially given that I'll stop.
Yeah,
but no, we would like to. We'll I'm sure we'll throw a few more thank yous out later, but we would like to thank everyone that participated this season. This has been brilliant. We've loved it, and to have some interaction with different people from all around the world. Like, I love the fact that the guy who won it was from Trinidad. I asked Kevin if he could send me his address so I can send him his mug, and I was expecting him to say that he lived in, I don't know, somewhere in England or something, and there he is saying to me, I live in the West Indies. I was like, no, it's all right for some. I actually said to him, I said, good for you, mate. I mean, I would love to be living there at the moment as we look out onto a drizzly day in England. But yeah, no, that is what FPL is all about, bringing people together from all parts of the world. And social media gets a lot of stick, but that's probably one of the good things about it, I guess. So I think realistically, I don't know if you've got anything more to say, mate, but from my perspective, the only thing I would say is, if we can keep this going next season with the North versus South League, I think it'd be really good if we could try and get a league full of people with Northern and Southern teams, which, to be honest, is going to be even tougher next season for the Southern guys than it was this season. But who knows? Maybe Arsenal and Chelsea might be decent, because I'm pretty sure Spurs will be pretty good, I reckon, next year with Conte. Just all the rest of the teams.
Definitely. No, nothing further to say. Just thanks again to everyone who joined the league and participated. And congrats to all those who've done well in not just in the game in general as well. So yeah, really good. I think we're coming on to our final part of the podcast for this season. In our last podcast, we did a final game of the season sort of results. So, we had the European places to pick out and who was going to get relegated, who was going to win the title. And, we both made our sort of predictions. I think we did pretty well, Heath. I mean, so, if I recall, how did you go for things? Who did you decide on in terms of the European places starting off with that? What did you go for?
I think unfortunately, I think I got them all right. I wish I hadn't, but apart from the title, I'm happy the title went the way it went. But European places, I went for United to hold on. I did think they were going to get something against Palace. Maybe, I can't remember if I said they were going to win. I think maybe I did, but the fact is I thought there'd be a lot more convincing. I got to be honest, I actually thought that Ronaldo would play as well. But the thing about it is...
You did put Man U down a win as well, because we had the Man U Palace game on our...
That's right.
So you went for an away win there. We can do with both of it with this, to be fair, because I went for a draw in that game, so I actually got that wrong as well. But I did say I went with West Ham to get with Man United. But Heath, you nailed that one. Bang on, really. And the other European places, obviously the West Ham Conference League. Who did you go for the top four shout?
Yeah, Spurs, mate. I think we both did, right? Spurs was pretty much a given. Norwich. I mean, you've got a kind of. I do genuinely. I know Watford have been poor this season, but I have to say Norwich. That was a dreadful end of the season for them. It wasn't great for Watford. It really wasn't. But Norwich, I know they got that Wolves result from nowhere, but apart from that, they did not lay a glove on anyone. It was such a poor way to finish the season.
Yeah, I mean, it was them and Norwich and Watford have obviously been miles out of the depth this season. They've not played well. They've not really given themselves much of a fighting chance. I mean, I think early doors in the season, Watford seemed to be doing all right. I think they didn't start too badly, but then it's just got worse and worse for them, and both ended up with less than 25 points, both teams, and they've conceded plenty of goals, not scored enough goals as well. It's just it's not been good for them. And last games of the season, so obviously Watford put up a lot more of a fight over at Chelsea than Norwich did at home for their fans. So you gotta feel for the Norwich fans really for that absolute drubbing. And like you said, I went for Spurs as well because I just didn't see Norwich causing them upset. I fancied Arsenal to spank Everton, which they did. I think Everton just were relieved to be over the line, and rebound the last game of the season.
Well, that's it. And just to let you guys know, if you didn't listen to the last podcast, we were talking about Everton because that was before the Palace game, but obviously the next day or that evening after, it must have been the day after, Everton got the result against Palace that meant that they weren't involved in the relegation fight. But
I think we both pretty much predicted that as well, because I know I'd get outside. I think Everton will get what they need against the Palace game. And, I definitely predicted Leeds to stay up as much as I didn't want them to. I always fancied them getting something against Brentford. And I just wasn't sure if Burnley would be able to do the same against Newcastle, which they weren't, unfortunately for them. So, the Leeds stayed up, which is probably not popular with most people up in Yorkshire, that's for sure, barring Leeds fans, obviously. But I think we both said in the end that we fancied Burnley to go down and Leeds to stay up, and managed to get something out of it. And the 3 points did it. They only actually needed 1 point to do it because Burnley obviously lost their game. But I think that when that second goal went in for Leeds, I think they were pretty much confident they were there then to survive.
It must be a weird place to be if you're a Burnley fan, because I felt the same bit about Watford a couple of years ago when we got relegated. You sign someone like Maxwell Cornet or Veghurst or someone like that, where you kind of look at it and you go, oh, look, we're trying to progress. We're getting away from this whole kind of bully, long ball kind of football. We're going to try and bring some European class to the team. And ultimately, it was their downfall. I'm not saying that's the reason why they went down, but I'm just saying that this is the first time they've really tried that and it's not worked and they've got relegated. It's funny, isn't it? Like we did. I felt we did the same. We brought in we kept on trying to get bargains, and then the year that we actually go out and spend some money, and I'm not saying Ismail Assar was the reason why we got relegated that year, but I would say that it felt wrong us doing that, and it ended up being our downfall that meant that really affects us for, well, even now I think we're still paying some of his transfer fee to his previous club, Ren. Yeah, I feel like that must be a really weird place to be with Burnley, especially where Daesh got sacked as well. I'm not saying, I feel like people are kind of saying that Daesh being sacked was the reason they got relegated, but it felt like the end of last season and this season, it felt like Daesh was distant from where he had been at Burnley before. I felt like Burnley was his club inside out. And when these new owners came in, I think they told him, it felt like anyway, that they've told him things he doesn't want to hear, and that they won't be able to progress that club like he wanted it to. And therefore it felt like he was just there because, I don't know, like he didn't want to go and they didn't want to sack him. But you could tell about him. It certainly didn't seem as kind of as himself.
I think he's obviously been there for a while and he's done a fantastic job at Burnley, and I don't think anyone will say it differently. But sometimes, you run your course as well. And maybe he was starting to think, I've done everything I can do here. And like you said, if their new owners come in and not it's not going to work how he wants it to work, then maybe it was probably, and it's like, well, let's bring it to a natural end. I'm sure he would have loved to have seen the season out and hopefully kept him up, but not to be. I mean, Burnley starts, the problem Burnley have always had is scoring goals. You look at them defensively, they only conceded 53 goals this season. Now, in terms of defensively, that's better defensive record than Man United, Leicester, Newcastle, Brentford, Villa, Southampton, Everton, Burnley. So, all those teams, they've got a better defensive record. But the problem was they only scored 34 goals all season. And, that's the joint second worst amount of goals in the league that season. And that's going to relegate you, generally. When you don't even score a goal a game, that's, it's just, that's the pain for you. So they've got problems.
My prediction for next season, Nottingham Forest in the Premier League, struggling at the beginning of the season, sack their manager, bring in Sean Dyche. There you go, that's my prediction. And if they don't do it, I'm sure someone else will do it.
Definitely. Fair prediction. I'm liking it. Let's see if that comes out.
So the next one, obviously, so Burnley went down, and then the next one, the title, again, I believe we both got this right.
But I'll tell you what, it was not always looking that way, to be fair, at some point, was it? I think...
Who were you rooting for, mate?
I actually wanted City to win the title. I couldn't risk Liverpool winning the quadruple with some mates I've got. Not that I dislike it, my friends, and not that I dislike Liverpool either, but, if a team does something like that, fans can be unbearable. I remember Man United fans when they won the treble in the 90s, and, other times where, Liverpool won like 5 trophies in the space of a year and a half, and Arsenal the Invincibles and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, I didn't want to see that. I don't want somebody to just have it all. I mean, it'd have been a great achievement, don't get me wrong. And again, Liverpool, and you couldn't argue against them not deserving the title, because again, them and City both deserving of the title, and the points tallies that these guys have been hitting over the last few seasons have been crazy. And if we didn't have 2 great teams, 92 points would win you the league more often than not, to be fair. So I think Liverpool got to hold your hands up and say it. They've been fantastic. What's let Liverpool down this season? They've not beaten any of the other 3 sides in the top 4 in the league this season.
I personally want to meet and I want to shake the hands of the person who put the fake news out of the Villa had scored a 3rd goal, because honestly, like, it doesn't matter what set of fans that happens to. That is one of the funniest things.
Yeah. To be fair, I think now this might just be a rumor, but I heard that it's a Man City fan who was actually at the game at Anfield though, that started that rumour off. That's what I've heard on the grapevine today. So if that's the case, even better. You know, you gotta be very, very much, so hats off to that person. But yeah, now City, they made it half themselves again. But yeah, crazy 10 minutes, and there were 3-2 up all of a sudden. And I mean, to be fair, I mean, Villa being 2-0 was a bit flattering to Villa, if truth be told. City were, the dominant team, as you'd expect. Liverpool obviously didn't quite have it their own way either. They came out 3-1 winners, but Wolves have more chances, to be fair, as well. In that game, they could have had a couple of goals. They started off obviously well, and Liverpool again. It was only the 84th minute when Salah put them 2-1 up, and at that point, though, City had already come back from 2-0 down and be 3-2 up by the time Liverpool went in the lead, I think, didn't they? So it was Liverpool had the moments where they were, a goal away from being, top, because the draw was no good for Liverpool because City were a point clear and had a better goal difference. So Liverpool couldn't have won the title by drawing. They had to win their game. So they were actually never top of the table on the last day, though, even though City were 2-0 down at one point.
Again, I don't have any issue with Mohamed Salah. I do like him, to be fair, but you've got to laugh as well where he scores that second goal and he thinks he's having an Aguero moment, where he's the one winning the title for Liverpool. And like I say, I know it sounds a bit bitter, but I've got every right to be bitter. My team's got relegated with probably the least amount of points they've ever had in the Premier League. Let me have this, all right? No, it was good fun. I'll be honest with you, like, as you can imagine, I was watching it on Now TV, so I'm always slightly behind. So therefore, I couldn't look at my text messages because on our group and then another group I'm on, everyone's telling you everything that's going on if you're not watching it. So I couldn't look at that. Then I couldn't look at the scores because I actually accidentally looked at the scores. I was watching the Leeds-Brentford game initially. Then I see that Leeds go 1-0 up and that Burnley were 1-0 down. And then I look at the thing, I was like thinking, how have I missed? Oh, what? Oh, idiot. I forgot about that. And then realised in the end, the Leeds goal was actually disallowed anyway, so it didn't really matter. But I had to allow myself not to get sucked in. And then, yeah, I mean, personally, I'm not a big... I think that Liverpool, when they won their league that year, I think a lot of people came out of the woodwork and started getting, a little bit in your face from nowhere. And that was quite frustrating. Man City fans, I also think that no one respects Man City or Chelsea because of the way they won the leagues. Liverpool, They won it by selling players, using that money, investing that into other players, taking risks on certain players and building a squad, not buying the best players at that moment. They've gone out there and obviously spent a lot of money on Van Dijk and Alisson and a few others, but realistically, they've built a squad. Whereas Man City, it felt like, have just cherry-picked any kind of player that's been one of the best and has thrown them into their team. And I don't know, getting Guardiola as well, one of the best. It just feels personally like it feels like Man City have bought the league. It feels like Chelsea bought the league back in the day, and therefore I don't have the same elements of respect as what I do about that Arsenal team that won the league all those years back and Man United team that won the years back. People will say, yeah, but Man United and Arsenal spent a lot of money. They did, but again, they built a team, they built a squad. They weren't just throwing money at everything and anything. There were times where they spent money, but it didn't feel as bad as it does now, really. Like Man City, as soon as the season finishes, they go and get Erlinger Haaland, and now they go out and basically fix that problem. I've got no respect for that. They're going out there to get the best centre forward, arguably, the world's going to see in the next generation of football players. It's not much fun, really, and that's why I don't really care if Man City keep winning it, because I don't know any Man City fans, to be fair. So that probably helps. There might be more creeping in the woodwork at the younger generations, but that's not going to hit our generations because they're a bit too blatant if they start supporting them now.
That's true. I mean, I know two City fans from my football club, how long they've been City fans for, probably since they came into it with a lot of money, probably, to be honest with you. But they were probably just around at school at that point still. And, when you're a kid at school, and you can get away with like turning into a team like that, I think, a little bit more than you could if you're, our age at the end of the day. So who knows? I could be wrong. But I mean, I say what you're saying about City, yeah, does it look like bought Tyler? I guess so. But, I think they do make players better. Yeah, they go out and buy some top talent and they spend good money on them as well. But I mean, Kevin De Bruyne, yeah, they signed him from Wolfsburg, and yeah, he had a great season at Wolfsburg, but he'd been at Chelsea before, didn't really make it when he was at Chelsea from when they signed him from Genk, and it just didn't work out. But he's now at Man City, become one of the best footballers in the world, arguably. Look at Foden this season. Goals, assists, quality. Raheem Sterling was obviously good at Liverpool. They got him, but they do improve these players. But yeah, of course, they've spent money as well. But I think
it's just a relentless nature of like every season them going, oh, do you know what?
Next in, true.
It's the fact that we need a centre back, 50 million Laporte. We need another centre back, 50 million on Diaz. Oh, we need a centre forward, 50 million on Haaland. Obviously I don't know the exact transfer fees and stuff that was paid out, but it just felt like, it doesn't feel, again, I'm sure people have listened to this podcast, have played Football Manager before. The moment you put unlimited funds into your team, you straight away lose the element of getting a bargain, and in the end it's not much fun, and you don't enjoy the game. You go out there, you win, and then you lose, and it's not much fun. If you go and take a team from the conference all the way up to the top, now that is fun. Or what I always do, start in the Championship. Start with a bigger club like a Leeds back in the day, or Forest nowadays. Bring them up to the Premier League. Build something. Don't just throw money at things. Anyway, yeah, let's move on from that anyway, though, mate. Let's move on to the real contest. And what we didn't mention in this last podcast was not just the Nutmeg Champions as a team, but the Nutmeg Champion as an individual. And I'm holding on to this as well, right? I've actually got the stats, mate. I found the stats. So, in third place, in the top 5 leagues this season, right? In third place by Leverkusen with 49 nutmegs. That's quite good.
Good going. Very good.
Just to let you know that obviously we know where I'm going with this. If you listen to the last podcast, Wolves were also on 49, so they finished joint third. Really, Bayern Munich, probably one of the most dominant teams in European football, 50 nutmegs, one more than Leverkusen. But still, you can imagine, Leroy Sané and Lewandowski just mugging off a couple of German defenders and in the Bundesliga. That league's competitive, but it's nothing like the Premier League. Now, top of the league with 20 more nutmegs, Watford FC.
Wow.
Hey, am I proud or what?
No, you're way too proud for something like that.
I know.
I'd rather have 5 nutmegs and stayed up this season if I were you.
Yeah, I think I would too, mate. But and again, getting away from this silliness, but if you want to know who was the player with the most nutmegs, it was actually Emmanuel Dennis with 21. Then you had Gianluca Caprari from Hellas Verona with 17, Moussa Diaby at Leverkusen 15, joint with Rafinha 15, Sancho 15, and Patrick Wimmer at Arminia 15. João Pedro with 13 as well. So you can see that most of our nutmegs come from Emmanuel Dennis and João Pedro. So there you go. Everyone's a winner.
Well, I can sleep better tonight knowing that Watford have won something this season.
Yeah, mate, and you'll be seeing that again next season. We'll have. I'm sure we won't have Emmanuel Dennis, but we might have João Pedro, and who knows, mate? You might get to see him in person next season.
Against the Millers.
Yeah, the Merry Millers. And what is the stadium out there called now? What is it?
The New York
The
Stadium.
New York Stadium. That's it. Yeah, I've been there. It was an honor.
Yeah, you won as well.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean that is another good thing about this time next season. I won't have to worry about getting mugged off every week about Watford being a terrible Premier League club. Hopefully it will.
Might just be a terrible championship club. Could go really bad.
You won't care as much. You'll feel a bit more pity for me then.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah. I'll be probably more in the doldrums because I know we've got a tough season ahead as a Rotherham fan. So yeah.
Who knows, mate? Well, I mean, unfortunately, guys, I mean, before we go, we've got one announcement we made in the podcast last week. We just want to reiterate it. Next, we were planning to do our collab podcast with the Big at the Back guys. Unfortunately, it didn't work out this week, but hence why we're recording tonight. But we will be trying to do that in June. Just forgive us for it being a little bit late. Obviously, as you know, as we already mentioned, so State is off on Wednesday. I'm then going to get married, and basically I won't be back till the end of June. So realistically, you're going to have to wait for the summary of the season for end of June-ish, kind of maybe even. We'll see exactly when that happens, but we're still definitely doing that. And if worst case scenario happens, State and I will definitely do something. You will hear us again between now and when the Premier League season or the fantasy football season starts, without a doubt, in the summer. I just don't know exactly what we'll be doing. We haven't really got a plan at the moment.
No, yeah, but I'm sure we'll create some more magic for everyone to listen to. That's for sure. Definitely. We've got the gift. So yeah, why not?
And we also, like we always say every week, just to remind you, our Twitter handle. So it's at FPL NVS for the North versus South Twitter handle, at FPL_Northerner for State, and I'm at FPL Southerner, all one word. And I mean, this for me personally has been such a fantastic season. I really, really love FPL without a doubt, as you can tell. But the idea of doing this podcast, I just think for me, it's kind of given this extra element. I've been going through, there's been a lot going through in my life and stuff. And I've absolutely loved spending time with yourself, State, every week, or as much as we can, and talking to you listeners every week. I hope you can kind of understand that, that this means a lot to both State and I. And we do plan to give you even more content in the future. I think I've got a summer of learning, of trying to improve this podcast and make it even better, which I know you guys are thinking, how can they do it? But somehow we will. And I think our communication, obviously, we've done as much as we can, but I think that, again, that's something that we can improve on and try and get more, maybe market this a little bit better. I don't know. But I think for one season, our first season of doing this, I think that I can only see this as a success. I don't know what you think, mate, but I've absolutely loved it. It's been brilliant.
No, it's been great, mate. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, it's whenever we've been sort of recording it, it's always been something to look forward to on that day, and then thinking right next week and having some good banter. Great to catch up on a regular basis, obviously with yourself, which has been good. And yeah, no, really, can't thank you for your efforts enough, Heath. Really, you do the editing part. I bring the talent, and you do all the hard craft. Which is why
You're the funny guy. You're the funny guy.
Definitely that guy. That's for sure. Yeah. But no, it's been really good, and it's been a great season for football. Hope everyone's enjoyed the football, enjoyed the fantasy teams as well if they're playing. Fingers crossed, we'll have another good one, and looking forward to some transfer gossip, which is already getting moving and getting started as well for the upcoming season. So yeah, like you said, we will do something between now and the start of the season. We will be doing an end of season review as well, where we'll have some funny awards and stuff like that, and hopefully it'd be good to do it with some fellow podcasters, which hopefully could bring something fresher to the audiences as well that way.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And I mean, like I say, you forgive us until the end of June, and after that, we'll see what we're going to do. I think, like I say, we won't really be around that much between now and then. But all I'll say is that we certainly won't be, forgetting you guys. We'll be bringing content out at some point. Yeah, I guess it only leads me to say that, I guess for a start state, I'll say thank you very much for a fantastic season. And more importantly, to anyone who's listened to this podcast, if you've listened to one, if you've listened to 3, if you've listened to them all, thank you so much for being on this little journey that we've had this season. And we look forward to having another journey next season.
Definitely. All the best, everyone.
Take care, guys. Enjoy your summer.